Hey girlfriends, I'm Meech. Welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can see, this is part 2 of my sew-in, takedown, and reinstall video. Now I'm just going to go ahead and get started, and I am going to begin by sectioning off her hair. Now this first part that I'm doing right here, I am just sectioning off where her leave out is going to be, so it'll give me a better idea of the braid pattern and the way that I want to go about it. So in this video, she's going to have minimal leave out. She's just going to have enough to cover up her tracks, and that's all. And this is really dependent upon really the hair type. So if somebody has really thick hair, you may be able to leave a smaller section of leave out, versus if their hair is very fine or thin, you may need to leave out a little bit more. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right here. So here I'm just going to braid that hair out of the way. Now what you want to keep in mind is it's not about how thick or fine or whatever the texture of the hair looks like once it's in this blown out state. It's more important of how it's going to be when it's styled. So make sure that you can really gauge how much hair you're going to need to leave out, because sometimes it may be really thick, and then once you get to flat ironing and putting in products, and flattening it out, it's not enough hair. So just make sure for a fact you have enough leave out to cover your tracks. So for this type of install, I typically do 2 anchor braids around the leave out, and this is basically just to get the tracks as close to the leave out as possible so that it's full up there and there's no gap between the leave out and where that first track is. So I'm going to put an anchor braid on each side, and then from there I'm just going to braid the hair straight down the sides, and you guys will see all that in this video. Now once I start the rest of my base, I just want to make sure that my foundation is as solid and neat as possible. I'm going to start off with smaller braids. All the braids are fairly small, and that's again just to make sure that this foundation is really flat and that it lasts as long as possible. So yeah, I'm going to do the method where I braid down and then I'm going to pull the ends up. Now if you decide to do that method, you want to really pay attention and make sure that once you're pulling the tail of the braid up into the next braid, as you guys will see, you do not want it to be like pulling so tight that the skin is lifting or that it's red or anything of that nature, because that will be more prone to breakage. So just try to be mindful of that. Sometimes I do get that, and what I'll do is I'll pull the tail down a little bit just to loosen it up, and you guys will see that in this video as well. So this part is very vital. Of course, I want to make sure that I am oiling her scalp before I do her install, and that's just to prevent as much itching and dryness as possible, again, especially in these colder months. So yeah, I just want to make sure that I moisturize her scalp prior to her install. So here's the finished result of my braid pattern for this sew-in. Now as you guys can see, I did put a braid straight across the back instead of having the braids go all the way down and pulling them up at the nape, and that's just because I want to prevent as much tension and breakage as possible, and I know that sometimes we are more prone to breakage at the nape of the neck area, and I again just want to prevent that. So that's why I put that anchor braid there. So now I'm just going to sew down that tail of that last braid, and you can do this however you want, guys. It's nothing particular. There's no right or wrong way to do it, in my opinion. And then I'm just going to go ahead and get those first bundles sewn in. Now I usually only go through the wefts whenever I am starting bundles. So when I very first start, I'll put the needle and thread through the very beginning of the weft just to make sure that it's secure and it's going to lay flat and it's not going to stick out or anything of that nature. And then I also do it whenever I'm getting ready to tie off thread, like when I'm running out of thread. The way that you sew in the hair, again, it's completely optional. It's totally up to you. So many people have their own methods and do it so many ways, and as long as the outcome is a bomb hairstyle and the integrity of your client's hair is still intact, honey, then you did your job, period. So yeah, I'm just sewing this in. I am doing the flip over method because she does not want her bundles cut. Now initially when we installed this hair, we did 4 bundles, and I want to say it was like 22, 24, 26, 22, 24, 26, 28, or maybe it was 20, I don't know. But nevertheless, she did not want that last longest bundle in, so we did take that out and only did this reinstall with 3 bundles. But nevertheless, the 4 bundle install and the 3 bundle install, both of them lay as flat and seamless as possible, and I just want to make sure of that because, you know, nobody wants a lumpy bumpy sew in. So yeah, even though I'm doing the flip over method, I just always want to make sure that when I'm flipping over that it always lays as flat as possible. And if you want details on how I do my flip over method, the way that I do it in on my wigs, I made a frontal wig video. It's the exact same way that I do it for my sew-ins. So here I'm just taking a little bit of product, whatever I use, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that all throughout her sew-in and also her leave-out as well. And then I'm going to take my Red Pro. I love this so much. I want to say it's like a 1/2 inch. It may even be smaller than that, but I love this iron so much, y'all. But I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to start straightening out her leave out, and I am so meticulous about the little baby hairs, especially like in the front, because I really typically don't add edge control unless, you know, I know that my client likes it or, you know, wants that. But I know for her we don't do edge control, so I make sure that I get those hairs as straight as possible. So I'm just gonna go ahead and frame up her face a little bit, because this hair, even though it's the second install, is still quite long, and she does want kind of a soft bang, not too much layers in the front. So I am just gonna do a quick little slide cut for some layers and leave the rest of her length. So yeah, thank you guys so very much for watching. I love you guys and I appreciate you all. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and God willing, I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.